So here am I at the start of another day. I'm in Athens, Georgia. Athens, Georgia, I like a little better than Atlanta because it's smaller, so you don't have the problems of Atlanta, but you're still close enough to Atlanta you can get there pretty easily. I.e., you don't have the problem of like traffic. Today's going to be a nice day, weather-wise, but it's going to be kind of dictated by how easily I find my way around Atlanta. I'm going to pass to the north of it. I don't know how far north. I'm going to feel my way around. But off we go. Yes, and now we're leaving Athens, Georgia, and, well, you know, hate to be honest here, but gotta get around Atlanta. And basically what it comes down to is Atlanta is metropolis incarnate. You know, there are so many cities in the United States that just kind of like grow. You know, you have your inner city where you have the skyscrapers and what, and then just kind of sprawls out. And some of this can be terrible writing. Atlanta is actually a little different. And in fact, that the scenes you're seeing here are actually within the Atlanta city limits. You have these scenes where you go from like urban thing, where you're going from shopping center to this pretty rural kind of landscape, which lasts for several minutes or whatnot. And then all of a sudden, bam, you're back into the urban sprawl, as it were. Atlanta, that's kind of the unique thing of Atlanta. Atlanta is also more hilly than you'd think it would be. So I give Atlanta credit for that thing. Yeah, look at this nice little state park for camping and boating. Looks like a lot of fun. I'm just leaving the area of Atlanta and headed north more into the hills area. Should be really good. That's why there's a little traffic. There's the campground. But we're headed out. Gonna have hopefully good riding from here. Just got through the suburban riding of Atlanta. Once you get out of Atlanta, oh God, it gets so much better, because if you head north, Atlanta, the hills between Atlanta, oh, it's the end of the Appalachian Trail. They have some of the best riding here. The Three Dragons are right here. I did not do the Three Dragons. I did not do the Dragon's Tail while I was out here. It's the Dragon's Tail. Oh, so fun going through it. A lot of twists, a lot of turns, a lot of hills, a lot of stuff. You can sometimes find moonshiners or people who are doing like exquisite jams or whatnot in here. I didn't stumble across any of those while I was here, but you always keep your eye out, because you can find some pretty interesting people selling some pretty interesting stuff if you're paying attention as you kind of go through this region. I just want to keep that out in mind. Just look at this. Let's look at all this. This is a state park that's only about 30 minutes north of Atlanta. I mean, like when you start leaving Atlanta, you get into the suburbs, which extend quite a little bit, but after that it just drops like a stone into a very rural kind of area. Then you got people out here right now who are fishing and boating here, and you can swim. I'm sure there'll be people out here a little later swimming, because it's supposed to be like 80s. And I believe kids might have the week off from school. Maybe not, I don't know. This is kind of some of the coolest spots you can kind of find. As for the name of the park, I saw it when I was coming in. I was not paying attention because there are a lot of these parks. And thank God I'm out of Atlanta and out of all that driving, that riding. It was just all mini mall, stop, go, stop, go, stop, go. But this makes it worth it. This next section, as you're kind of moving out, now you're starting to get into Alabama, and you know, here you start getting into the breadbasket of America, the breadbasket, not breadbasket, breadbasket of America, and here it starts to level out a little bit, but you can still see a whole lot of stuff. I mean, the farms start to really come out. When it comes down to farm or ranch, I'm definitely a ranch person. I like to see the fences, I like to see the animals versus the sprawling farms. The sprawling farms, I almost want everything just clear cut so I can just see rolling hills of farms. You know, it's just me personally. One of the interesting things is seeing the building and construction as you go by it. It's kind of interesting. I don't know. Call me like I just like to see these things, like things in progress. That's kind of one of those things that gets me. And then kind of going through things. I mean, I love, you know, the sharp turns, the kind of enclosed environment. The more they can cover the canopy, if they can, with the trees, the better it is for the riding. It just, you know, makes you feel like you're going through a natural tunnel. So this is Alabama. I crossed over the border between Alabama and Georgia a little while ago. I was actually on the Trail of Tears. To talk about the Trail of Tears, unremarkable. I thought there were going to be like markers or other stuff, and turns out there wasn't. Here I am at a nice, quiet lake. The thing is that, you know, Alabama, just like Georgia, is on the border, right where the Appalachian Mountains meet. So it's very kind of mountainous and wilderness. So this is like some great little camping areas. Sure, you can do a whole lot of fishing. Campground right here. Kind of scenic, ain't it? I can do some little off-roading. See if I get to some. Then moving forward into Alabama. I mean, Alabama, the more I travel, the more I know that every state seems to have sections of it. You can't just pigeonhole one state into just one thing, except for probably Rhode Island, which is just Providence. But whenever, like Alabama, you have to talk about, are you talking about northern Alabama, mid-Alabama, southern Alabama, western Alabama? Because they all have their own little kind of like feels to them, and kind of their own little, they have their own kind of environment, they have their own kind of like culture to them. And northern Alabama is very similar to southern Carolina, you know, very rolling, very hilly. Oh, it's actually fun, and it's actually great. And I would recommend a lot of people to check it out if they could. I mean, this is the territory to really have a lot of fun in, and it's not really well known. I mean, if you want to avoid kind of the touristy prices, you know, you go to places that are just like some of those touristy places, but aren't as popular just yet. And northern Alabama has it, while, like, you know, some areas of the Carolinas, boom, have those prices going with it. So this is it. This is what I would tell. This is what I would recommend. Find those diamonds in the rough. That's how it goes.